What's up, Packers fans? Aaron Nagler here, joined by Bill Schmid of the Packers Radio Network. We're back with Carry the G Radio, the podcast. After a makeshift last-minute appearance on the radio this morning, Billy, I want to thank you, A, for the invite, mostly because it means I have some idea of what we can talk about. And usually I have some kind of rundown or an idea of what we are going to talk about on the podcast. This week I had no idea. But I love that you said you're talking about the streaming services and the proliferation of them and all of the different ways you now as an NFL fan have to, basically navigate to find these games. People are upset about this. It's the year 2024, my friend. Why are people mad about the internet?
Nags, the year of our Lord 2024. I would have anticipated that we were past some of this. I get it because I think some of it's generational, right? Like I talk about it with my parents all the time, and like my mom is hell bent on she's not watching the Christmas Day games. Not watching it. I don't have Netflix. I'm not getting this Netflix. Oh, that's fine. That's fine. And guess what? There's like 12 to 15 million people that already do. And there will be
hooked up. Yep.
And Nags, as many people don't want to hear this. People believe that I am lying. They think I am shilling for the NFL because I am on one of their 32 teams radio network. They don't know who I am. They don't care. What they do know is they're going to get 1 to 2 million people to subscribe to Netflix to watch the Chiefs play on Christmas Day. Like I fully believe that in my heart that they're going to get at least 7 figures worth of people to say, yeah, I'll do it. And then I'll cancel it. And then maybe they'll forget about it for 2 or 3 months. And then they'll watch Suits and they'll like one, true crime documentary on there. That's why these streaming services are doing it because they hook you and it's advantageous. And I was a hole today for saying it ain't changing. So like you can continue to be upset about it. You can be mad. You can say you're not watching Peacock. You can say you're not watching Thursday Night Football on Amazon Prime. The numbers would say you are. They would say you are lying. And Nags, I am now old enough, and I can use this.
Oh boy.
To say I think I've heard 3 different things were going to kill the NFL within the last decade. I'm old enough to remember that protests during the national anthem were going to completely kill the NFL.
It was over.
Happened. Heard that steroids were going to kill the NFL because Brian Cushing and these guys had HGH. Doesn't seem to be doing it. Concussions. The last one, I believe, has at least the slightest ability to trim into the inventory of great players. That's the only one that I'm seeing really taking a bite out of the NFL, and the money around it is not doing it.
What's nuts, too, is that like the NFL has done such an amazing, and I underline, italicize, amazing job of eliminating the discussion around head trauma and concussions when it comes to the game of football, simply by, we've made these ridiculous rules that now get you flagged for even the slightest infraction, oftentimes which has nothing to do with head trauma or concussions or whatever, but that's why it's there, for player safety, right? And of course they had the settlement with the retired players, which, is ongoing, but that's something that they've carved out an amount of money to kind of pay that out. And now it was a dominant part of the discussion for 5-6 years. No one talks about it anymore. No. Now we all just talk about, player safety. Oh, yes, you can definitely get head trauma. You can have long-term effects, etc. But it's a given now. It's not controversial. It's not discussed. It's just woven into the fabric of the kind of idea of the NFL, not even the game of football. Like the National Football League just is accepting that. And the guys coming into the game accept it. It's crazy. That's what I mean when I say, like, we went from a 4-alarm fire. Like, I had so many parents reaching out to me for any number of years talking about, I'm never going to let my son play football, etc. And those people still exist. Like, I know that there are people who will never let their kids play the game. I totally get that. But it is no longer a discussion point in any way, shape, or form.
No, and it's forgotten in between the white lines and when the whistle blows, right? Like during games, 1,000%. No one's going to talk about it.
Yep.
There will be, and I think this is where and I'm fully in belief that one of the main reasons why the league continues to push the international series is not only to get international money, dollars and
Right.
cents for streaming services and things like that we started talking about, but I believe it's because they see the best athletes in the world playing in the NBA. They see the best athletes in the world playing in the MLB. You
Mhm.
don't see as many of the best athletes in the world playing in the NFL. It's just not taught that much. It's
Yeah.
also so ingrained in the youth levels of America where kids are better. Like the best player in Slovenia might not be the best player in Minnesota because you grow up playing it so much. So that's one of the reasons why they want to continue incentivizing people watching football, people playing football around the country or around the world, because in this country, I think there are a couple more parents that are going to say,
Absolutely
thanks, but
not.
no thanks.
Not
Right?
my
You're
kid.
not playing it.
Yep.
The one that would really, I think, put more of a thought into people's minds, and this is the one that I think is you're just starting to see the surface scratched with, is like Randall Cobb when he said, I got 3 boys.
Yeah.
They will decide if they want to play football. I ain't telling them to. Right?
Yeah.
Like when you
I'm not
don't
pushing
have
them into it.
I'm
Right.
not pushing them to play football. Then
Yeah.
when you have Greg Olson, he's like, I got 3 boys and I want them to play any sport they want to. They like baseball better than football. I think there will be more parents on the Randall Cobb side of, I'm not pushing my kids to play any sort of football. If they come begging and
They
pleading to me,
gravitate to it. Right.
then we'll have a conversation. You're still going to have kids growing up, football's their favorite sport.
Yep.
You're going to have a few more parents saying, yeah, but you can watch it on Saturday
Right.
and Sunday. You're going to play basketball and baseball instead.
But I'll take you to those practices. I'm not putting you
Mhm.
out there playing American football. And like, it's funny. I love that kind of viewpoint as far as the international push, because you're 1,000% correct. And it's the inverse of soccer, which is all the rage at the moment because of the 2 big
Oh,
tournaments
yeah.
that are happening.
Yep.
Finals on Sunday. I'm very excited. England, let's go. But that's like the inverse, right? Like America has forever been on the upcoming like train when it comes to soccer, but we all know that is just never going to arrive because it's not ingrained in our populace the way it is around the world. And
Mhm.
it's like almost, the exact opposite of what you're talking about there. I do love, you mentioned the 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 games that are on Peacock, right? Or Amazon or what have you. The Peacock thing is interesting to me because that's, for me, the one that's really kind of set the comment sections on fire whenever the
Sure.
Brazil game gets mentioned, because the fact that it's on Peacock streaming only. Peacock had that playoff game, which
Mhm.
only available on Peacock, and they did banger numbers as far as
Yeah.
signups go, retention wise, like people who stuck around after that first month, etc.
Mhm.
Now, some of that obviously is probably people forgetting because it was like, what, $5 a month? They're not
Yeah.
trolling their credit card bill for
And the
that
Royal
$5.
Rumble was on the next week or 2 weeks later. Negs, you watched the Royal Rumble. You stayed and
Well,
watched
you did.
WrestleMania.
You did. I did not, but you did. Like, much like I am watching the Copa and the Euros, which
Mhm.
you are not. Like, you are watching Royal Rumble, which I am not, which is
Yeah.
fine. Different
Yeah.
strokes, different folks. It's the off season, but the NFL comes back very, very soon. And I
Mhm.
feel like, as a podcast that I guess covers the Green Bay Packers, we
Oh,
are
yeah.
contractually obligated to mention the fact that Jordan Love's extension has not yet been signed, announced, what have you. I am of the opinion that it is, by the time you and I speak next, I suspect this contract will be done. What do you think?
Hmm. I'm not as confident for a couple of different reasons.
Billy.
See,
All right, lay it on me.
yep,
Lay it on me.
because
We embrace
as
debate here at Carry the G Radio, the podcast.
well, and there's a couple of different layers to it, right? I
Mm.
truly think David Mulligetta holds a lot more cards than people are anticipating he does. Agent
with
for
you.
Jordan Love.
Yep.
This is the same man, and you and I talked about it on the radio show earlier today. This is the same man that after his quarterback, his client, had 30 million guaranteed for a year, told him to tell the team, that being the Houston Texans, before all the allegations, 24 allegations came through,
Mm-hmm.
you're never playing there again. Trade me. We need a new contract. We're not playing here anymore. Then the allegations came out. Then he was not suspended for a year,
No,
sat out,
call it
told
whatever
not to
you
be around the
want.
team,
Yeah.
whatever it
Yeah.
was.
Right.
He had made the statement he was never playing there again. So this is an agent who is always gotten the number he expects, right?
Yes.
Whether or not it is the first number they throw out there, he expects to get one of the highest numbers at the position. He expects Jordan Love's going to get the highest number at the position. I don't think he is in any way sweating the fact that Jordan Love is going to be able to get this money.
Right.
I wonder, and I think this is deep down. So this has got to be, I don't know Jordan enough to know if this is something he'd be interested in. I don't know David Mulugheta to know if this would be something that they're interested in. But I do wonder if there's a little bit of the, just wait till we get what we could get next year, right? We'll just wait until Dak signs. Just wait
Right.
until Tua signs. So that's the part of me that is thinking I'm just not positive because I want to be with you. If indeed waiting is completely off the table, then I'm with you. It's done by the next time we talk. But if it's not fully off the table, if betting on yourself one more time isn't fully on the table, isn't at least a part of the conversation, then I think that they're at least sitting in the back saying we could be the first $300 million guy.
The one thing that works in the Packers' favor here is, okay, fine, yeah, go ahead and play your year out, and then we'll just franchise tag you. You know, like that's
the part of
kind
it.
of arrow in the quiver that the Packers have. Also, and this is me really getting deep into the tea leaves, but when I asked Brian about Jordan's contract on Cheesehead TV a couple weeks ago, one little phrase that he uttered got me really confident. And it's funny that you are the one person I've spoken to kind of consistently here who's mentioned the agent, right? Like, and he is obviously a significant player here.
Yes.
He's a significant player in the NFL. Like you're saying, he has lots of really high profile clients, especially at the quarterback position. I totally agree with everything you just said in regards to his viewpoint and how he's approaching, undoubtedly, these negotiations. But Brian did say, I don't know if he let it slip or he did say it, Russ Ball has a great relationship with David Mulugheta.
Yep.
That one little phrase has got me pretty confident because Brian knows what David's reputation is. You know, like whether it's David now or Drew Rosenhaus back in the day, there are certain agents where you just know, okay, you're in for a negotiation. Like that is someone 100%. Who is going to take you to the wire every single time. And Drew Rosenhaus did it 2 years ago with Aaron Jones before the pay cut where he kept him around for another year. And then this year we all saw wasn't taking another pay cut, out the door he goes.
Yep.
I think David is not similar in the sense of like showmanship or whatever. Like we all know how many times we've seen Drew Rosenhaus on TV over the years, and that's changed somewhat recently. But I do think David is a shark in how he approaches, okay, I am going to get every bloody cent I can out of these negotiations.
This has always angered me, always triggered me in the conversation. The agent works for the player.
Right.
Fact. However, you hire somebody for what their reputation is.
Yes,
you hire somebody for what they do and what they are known to do.
What do you think they've been talking about for 3 years as Jordan has ridden the bench?
Yeah. In 21, David Mulugheta is hyping up Jordan saying, you're going to get one chance. You're going to light the world on fire. And I'm going to get you the biggest contract in the NFL. They've been talking about this. This is why you hire him. Just like in the baseball terms, you don't hire Scott Boras to re-up the Milwaukee Brewers like our guys Drew and KB would joke about, right? You don't hire Rich Paul in the NBA to not at some point maybe play with LeBron James or to get the biggest amount of money that you possibly can do. You hire the guy.
Deal you can get. Yes.
You hire the guy for what they're known to do, and he is known to get the most guaranteed money. That's a big part of it, and know how to get it up front. Now, this is where, and I'm glad you brought up the Russ Ball part when Goody dropped it on him. I wonder if part of the reason why they're good friends, why they have a good relationship is they both speak in guaranteed money.
That's the Packers.
The Packers talking signing bonuses. The Packers talking guaranteed upfront money.
Well,
and a direct deposit, and that's where it could really step up.
this is my biggest question about this negotiation, and I'm fascinated to see if and when this thing gets announced and we finally get to kind of dive into some details of the contract. I've said this a couple times on Daily, but it's something I haven't seen mentioned a whole lot in the kind of firmament here around this subject. Are they going to treat Jordan Love's contract like they did as far as like Aaron Rodgers was obviously Aaron Rodgers, and he was the only player they have ever had guaranteed money kind of past that first year. They didn't even do it for Devontae Adams. They wouldn't.
Nope.
You know, and this was the, standoff between TJ Watt and the Steelers, where TJ had his sit-in, and like that was literally the Steelers caving on that singular issue. It's something the Packers wouldn't do with Devontae Adams. Are they going to do it with Jordan Love? Is Mulugeta going to push for this? Like, I am fascinated to see if that's something the Packers do, because, like, again, Andrew Brandt's talked about this, and I think Joel Corey has talked about this. Rodgers is the only player they've done that for, and he's clearly a massive exception because of the fact he's Aaron Rodgers.
Love, you brought up.
Do they feel that way about Jordan Love yet? I don't know.
And I think, again, this is all part of the conversations that none of us know. But I wonder if that's part of that'll be the next one. If we get to the next
that's
one,
my question.
You'll see that
exactly.
One. Because
and does Mulugeta let that slide? Does he allow that?
Well, because
Aaron most modern contracts in the NFL, it's certainly trending towards no. We have guarantees for at least 2 or 3 years. Like the Packers, they want to pay as they go,
and they want to see a inflated cap number in year 3 or 4.
Yep.
Because that either means release or renegotiation.
Yep.
Right. So like there's parts of them that go through it. I also though wonder now, $11 million enough to feed your family, but Jordan Love is going to have another person join his family once he gets married. Right.
Yes,
I don't know if they're planning on having young children. I don't know if they have dogs. I don't know if they have cats. I don't know if they have iguanas. Right. But he's got more mouths to feed now, because he's gonna continue to grow his family.
Starting a family. Yeah.
I think my man's gonna want some upfront cash. I think this is gonna be signing bonus that blows people's minds, and they say, "Oh, well, yeah, but look at this number and that number and that number." That's where it goes. It's gonna be an eye-staggering cash right away.
Yes.
And I, for one, am very, very excited if indeed a signing bonus finally gets to the 9 figures. Listen, I love everybody getting cash. I'm excited. They're making enough money. Let me see it, because he's going to get a bunch. I'm glad you bring up Joel Corey, because he has, I think, found different layers of everyone's contract that have been
his
different.
Stuff, his work is
that's my favorite part
of
his.
You can tell he's a former agent who did this at a high level for a very long time, because like you read his stuff, my mind starts hurting sometimes, because he's really getting in the weeds.
Some of the language I didn't even know was a thing in the conversations. Yeah, he changed the game for me in that realm.
That's it. And we had him here on She Said TV a couple months ago talking about, Jordan's potential deal. And I don't think anything's changed in that. Like everything he said. So if people want to check it out, you should do so here on the channel. But yeah, I think it's definitely going to be sticker shock for fans. I have zero doubt, especially now after we've had Goff and Lawrence sign their deals. I think I'm not going to say this is going to blow them out of the water, but I do think it's going to be bigger than both of those.
Well, and it's going to be bigger in some way. Yeah, it's going to be some
every way.
Oh, you think he just every single one of them? See,
he's going to set the market. That's my expectation.
Yeah, and I think that's where they set the market in one term, and I think that's the term of guaranteed upfront money. Like,
right,
because they have that war chest, they have the cash. They're sitting on it. I know they already know they're going to have to spend their $450 million or whatever Florio is saying in this Sunday ticket deal.
Oh,
they have that cash in the back. It'll be okay.
That ain't going to happen.
Are you getting your money for Sunday ticket?
Eventually, if this thing ever gets to the Supreme Court and gets struck down, then
come on,
damn right.
I
was a Sunday ticket subscriber for a decade plus, man.
I was going to say you have to be one of the OGs. I only have 2 years of service on it, so I'm only going to get like $14.
Dude, I was on the Sunday ticket tip back in North Carolina like 25 years ago. Are you kidding me? You got your south-facing digital. What is that thing called? The satellite dish?
I was going to say you were up there moving the DirecTV dish to make sure you got the right
100%. 100%, dude. First
Man,
apartment here in New York. My landlord, I had to get a special permit to put it on the side of the apartment building, and so it could face the correct way, just so I could get Sunday ticket
so
and
you
see
get your
Packers
Sunday
games.
ticket.
I'll never forget it.
That's what I'm talking about. That's
my
carrying the G.
my, my then girlfriend was like, "Is this really necessary?" I'm like, "Just don't talk to me." Yes, of course it's necessary.
I understand why she was
what
your
kind of
then
question?
girlfriend. Yeah.
What kind of question is that? Well,
That didn't last much longer after.
Well, no, it did. She ended up becoming my wife and is now my ex-wife.
Oh, sorry.
16
Yeah.
plus
Okay,
years
well,
later. No, it's fine. It's
see
fine.
that, yeah.
It is. Well, we had 3 kids. They're beautiful. They're gorgeous, and life is good. So all's well.
All's well that ends well, baby.
I
And
got
this
3
one's gonna
beautiful girls.
and this one's gonna end even better because it's gonna put some cash back in your pocket, and it's
That's
gonna
what I'm
ultimately go to
talking
those
about.
3 beautiful girls.
Who are the funniest people on the face of this planet. On a total side note here, my girls went to the Mets game yesterday.
Ooh,
I didn't even know they were going to the Mets game. They just went. I just started getting texts from Citi Field from my girls, and because
Wow.
Madeline, my oldest, really loves the ballpark, like just the feet hanging at the ballpark,
Yeah.
right? Which this is what I tell people all the time. It's like, are they Brewers fans? Are they Mets fans? I'm like, they're just hanging at the ballpark fans.
I love
And
that.
they were
I
like
love that.
in the
They're trying to catch a
nosebleed
vibe.
sections, way up top where like Cowbell Man resides, and they were
Mhm.
eating little ice cream out of the little helmets, and
Have to. Did the same thing.
great. They
Yep.
like, you can get a walk up ticket for like $19, so why not?
And you know what? And I don't care. Many people say the baseball's dying and everything. Go to a game and tell me 30,000
Oh.
people are walking through the gates,
So
20,000 people are
great,
walking
dude.
through the gates. It's not dying. It's still
Well,
working.
here's the thing. It's never going to be the quote national pastime that it had been romanticized as for so
Mhm.
long, right?
Yep.
But it's just a different relationship to the American public, which is fine. Like people always jive about like, oh, the NFL is king and whatever. And we were talking right at the start about like all the things that are going to kill the NFL. And like, look, everything is cyclical. Yes, someday, maybe when my grandkids are walking the earth, yeah, the NFL may gonna lose itself and fall
Yeah.
from that perch, right?
Maybe.
I don't see it coming anytime soon, though.
Mm-mm.
But that doesn't mean like it's over. It still exists. Boxing still exists. Boxing was at one point what the NFL is now, or even what baseball was. It's like it's just a different relationship to the public. That's all it is.
And yes, boxing is consumed remarkably different, drastically different. Walk into a sports book on a night
Yes.
where there's a pay-per-view and tell me it's dead.
Oh, I'll tell you what. Oh, I'm so glad you said that. I used to think exactly that. Like, oh, it's a dead sport. No one's watching, blah, blah, blah. Until my whole fucking Twitter feed, every single night that there's some fight of significance, is nothing but tweets about the fight.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was just like,
Yep.
oh,
Yep.
oh,
People are watching.
everyone
boxing.
is watching it. So you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yes, it's on
Yep.
pay-per-view or whatever, but like they're fucking watching it. There's zero doubt.
Mhm.
Like
They're
lots of
watching it.
people. Yeah,
And
there's no
it
doubt.
just it continues to. It's where I said today, I will hand raised in air, allow people to mock me, ridicule me, embarrass me if I have a microphone in front of me. Hopefully I do. If indeed there's a time when the NFL is no longer king, you can do that.
Sure.
I'm going to bet the under that it's going to happen, right? You're going to be stomping on my grave if
Yes,
indeed we're
exactly.
talking about badminton or lacrosse
Someone
or
out there
pickleball being
our
better
listening
and more
audience
in demand on watching television than the
is
NFL.
so upset at you right now, and they have made their mark. They are like, I am going to tell my child that someday the NFL will no longer be king, and I want my child to find Bill Schmidt's grave
Yep.
and
do the gritty
stomp on it,
Yep.
do the gritty on it, whatever. And then that kid probably won't have that opportunity because the NFL will still be popular, and then that kid will tell his kid.
Yes.
It'll be
That
a
will be a family
generational
heirloom.
thing. Someone out there, I can feel it, is like, someday, Bill Schmidt, my ancestors will stomp on your grave.
I'm gonna make that
someone's out
son
there
of a
saying
bitch
that.
pay. I'm gonna make that kid pay. Listen, until then, I'll
Oh.
just be the smart
You'll
ass that's
You'll just be
continuing to say
right.
it.
You'll just be right, is what you'll be.
I like being right. I'll stay on this side of it.
So I'm going to be in town pretty soon. I think like 2 weeks from now. I think
Mhm.
the 25th is when I arrive. So
Come
then
on,
we're going
let's
to be
eat.
training camp, and we're going to be, having beers.
We have a
I can't wait.
yeah, we have some special stuff coming. on the radio side as to where
Let's
and when,
go.
how we're going to be able to broadcast. From what I've
Yes,
heard,
sir.
we're going to be in maybe the most desired location at Reinitschke Field. Little elevation, little bit of a perch.
What?
Might be right in the middle of both practice fields.
Wait, are you
that
on the
nice little
on the side
landing?
where the fans are, or the landing thing? Are
Mhm.
they? Well, please tell me they're going to give you some kind of covering, some kind of shade.
There will be a 97.3 The
tent.
Game tent from what I've
There
been
you
told
go. Now
that
you're
will
living
cover
right.
me up.
Now you're living right. Now
Eggs,
you are
yeah.
living right. Because let me tell you,
Mhm.
without that, that would have been in misery. But
Yeah.
with the tent,
Otherwise, we would have been brought to you by
cooking with
SPF
gas.
50.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, so it
That
should
is
be really,
awesome.
really fun.
That's where I
Yep.
used to stand during the night practices. That spot is so
Nags,
primo.
it is the best. I think it's the best spot around. Now, is it awesome walking back and forth on the sideline and getting your
It's
spots?
great.
Absolutely.
It's great.
Is it awesome conversing with all of us on the sideline?
On the
For sure.
sideline, of course.
I love being able to go and talk to my guy Mike Clemens. Like, it is one of my favorite parts of practice.
Absolutely.
However, tough to do while you're doing a radio show. So
well, you are broadcasting, so
I'll be broadcasting while practice is going on, and then I can do all that chopping up after at Anduzzi's.
So
and
what you're
stadium.
telling me is I'm going to come up and say hi. That's what
You
I'm
better
hearing
be.
here. That's what
You
I'm.
better be coming up and
That's
saying
the
hi.
message I'm getting here. All right, very good.
Only bad thing is the hi. You're going to have to grab a headset.
Well, that's if that's the
We're gonna
price
put
of
you to
doing
work.
business, it is the price of doing business. It's what are you going to do? What are you going to do? You know.
Hey, we all got to make sacrifices.
You gotta do some work every once in a while. I'm flying out there for God's sakes. I might as well do a little bit. Billy, this is always great. Thank you so much. Great to talk to you on the radio this morning. Great to talk to you here. And like I said, less than 2 weeks, I'm gonna be in town. We're gonna have some beers, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. Can't wait.
I can't wait, dude. I can't wait. We're gonna have so much fun. The pads are about to come on. We're a week and a half away from a practice starting. 2 weeks away from pads, and more importantly, we're getting so dangerously close to some Carry the G.
There you go, brother. There you go.
Hey,
hey, just because I can, you want to see something? You want to see?
Yes, I want to see something.
Want to see a little something? Here you go.
Well, we carry the G wherever we may be, so creamy and cold, and from the land of the green and gold.
What do you think about that? What do you think about that, Bill?
That is awesome. Motel Men track that.
No. Jason Fabus.
Damn.
Who,
all right, good work, Jason.
Great musician. He did that for us last year. We utilized a version of that, the polka version, on our watch parties. But this year, I think we're going to rock with his country version here. It's a lot of fun. And then Cody, our boy here at CSET TV, put together the visuals. It's good fun, man. Carry the G will be back in stores across Wisconsin in about 3 weeks. 3 weeks
creamy and cold and delicious.
From the land of the green and gold. It's going to be a lot of fun.
From the land of the green and gold. That's awesome.
Go.
Let's
go.
That's the song of the summer.
Right.
That
right
Morgan
there.
Wallen and Shabuzi song. We need to start blasting that through some speakers.
That's what I'm talking. Well, you might be hearing that on 97.3 The Game pretty soon. So be on the lookout.
If I have anything to say about
it, keep your ears open. All right, there we go. Billy, thank you so much, brother. I'll talk to you next week.
All right, man. Be safe.